I personally think FJ Cruisers are kind of ugly in their stock form, but with a few things you can make your FJ clean and more capable. When I saw the FJ Cruiser for the first time, there's one word I could think of, and that word is potential. I kind of thought the FJ Cruiser was a little bit ugly, but I saw the potential in it and how you could clean it up. And in this video, I want to give you 5 mods you should do to clean up your FJ and make it more capable. Because honestly, that is what it's about. It is about being capable to be outdoors on remote trails, doing what you want safely. So let's get into that. All right, so this is the first mod I'm going to recommend, wheels and tires. And I should say, the rest of the stuff in this list, I don't really have a certain priority to. I have a personal priority that I would do, but it depends on what you're doing off-road. Essentially, the reason I would put this at number 1 is if you're off-roading. The tires that come with stock FJs are trash, as you know. It's literally just street tires. So even if you're not doing a lift, even if you're not doing bigger tires, get better tires. And I would say all-terrains. Personally, these are Nitto Ridge Grapplers, so it's kind of like an all-terrain, mud-terrain hybrid. It's a little bit beefier than an all-terrain, but it's not quite a mud terrain, which is perfect because one thing you have to keep in mind when doing off-roading or overlanding is essentially if you're traveling a lot, you're going to be on the road, I would say 80–90% of the time to get to the place you want to be. Especially me being out here on the East Coast, I have to kind of travel decently far to get to cool locations to go off-road. So I would definitely keep that in mind when choosing your tire size and your tires, that depending on what you're doing, you may not need the most aggressive tire. It's pros and cons to both. These are also 33s and the FJ is on a 2-inch lift. Technically, to put an FJ on 33s, you don't need to lift it. You just have to do a body mount chop and you should be fine for clearance. I've heard mixed things on that, but I'd say for the most part, you're good with 33s if you do a body mount chop and just kind of check for clearances. And because they're bigger tires, they give the FJ more clearance off-road. So again, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing some off-roading, definitely recommend better clearance for the FJ. Now, aside from the capability aspect, bigger tires, they do make your FJ more capable, but they also make it look better. Now, these rims are plus 10mm offset, so essentially what that's doing is it's pushing the rims out or the tires out further. So when you look at it from the front, it's a little bit more spaced out on either side. It makes your FJ look a little bit more aggressive, and I love how it looks. So yes, your vehicle is going to be more capable with bigger tires, beefier tires. But if you want a more capable, better looking FJ, I would say this is number 1, easily. But let's go to number 2, bumpers. And this next one, some people are going to disagree with me on. We're going to talk about off-road bumpers. I personally do not like the stock FJ bumper. It's plastic, so therefore you hit something, it's going to crack, it's going to break. I also don't like how it looks. It makes the FJ look like a toy car. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Whenever I see like a stock style FJ, I think of like a little Matchbox car. Totally cool. If you like that style, I'm not judging you at all. It's just personally not my thing. FJs are cool in their own way, very unique. But I will say, having an off-road bumper increases your capabilities by a ton. Yes, you can install winches in the stock bumper. There's some modifications you need to do, but having this off-road bumper with a winch is just super easy. You just plop the winch in, you're good to go. And I should clarify which bumper this is. This is a Smitty built bumper. And honestly, it's done everything I've needed to. It's a pretty simple bumper, looks good on the FJ, checks all my boxes. So that is fine for me. And you also have hooks right here for, getting pulled out, which, I mean, come on, you're in an FJ, probably not getting stuck. So you'll be fine. There's also spots for lights and fog lights. Having a bumper like this increases your capabilities. Like I said, there's different things you can add to it that just makes you more capable off-road, and it looks cooler. Like I said, part of the mods list is also making your vehicle look the way you want it to. But going back to the capabilities, let's talk about clearance. A bumper like this will increase your clearance. As you can see, kind of slopes inwards, disappears, leaving your bumper higher so you won't hit it when you're going down on something. And same thing with the corners. There's less here to hit on something, which again, I have never actually hit anything on this bumper yet. I'm sure that will happen soon. But if you don't see the value in an off-road bumper for up front, totally fine. Let's go to mod number 3. And this next one, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite with. roof rack. As you can see, this is a stock roof rack. I love stock roof racks for the FJ, but I also hate them a ton. So as you can see, and as you probably know if you have an FJ, they're not very functional. I love how they look, but they're completely just not functional to me. In order to actually use them to store things on top, you have to get crossbars. And in my opinion, it's just a little bit janky. It's just not the best way to mount stuff with the crossbars. And if you do put a tent on top, you are adding about 8 to 9 inches above your roof line with the tent, because the tent's gonna sit up here naturally because that's the only way it can sit. And that's gonna affect your center of gravity. You're gonna sit a lot higher with your center of gravity. And it's gonna kind of give you some more body roll around turns. I feel that a lot with the tent on top. You can definitely feel body roll. So that's just a con of the stock roof rack. And very soon that will be changed. The roof rack will fit more of our needs for overlanding. And I'm very excited for that. But that's one con I see with the stock roof rack. You just can't really use it. And also, if you upgrade your roof rack, it leaves more room for auxiliary lights and just other mounting options as far as cases and other things like that up on top. And it gives you more room inside of the FJ. And that will bring us to mod number 4. Now this mod is actually a bunch of mods. And this is the section where I would start looking into gear, whatever that gear is. Now you probably should already have recovery equipment, you know, if you're off-roading with your bigger tires and stuff like that in your bumper. But this is kind of where you decide what route you want to take. Do you want to be an overlander as far as driving very far and seeing cool things, or do you want to be more of an off-roader where you're doing a lot of rock crawling, do stuff maybe for a day or two and then call it done? And as you can see here, I have a Rotopack right here mounted on the back of the FJ with a mount from Refined Cycle and Off-Road. They make a mount for the FJ where you can hold 2 2-gallon Rotopacks. This thing was incredibly helpful when it came to driving long distances, because as you know, the FJ fuel tank is extremely small. So to me, Rotopacks were a necessity when doing long distance travel. And another thing you can look at is lights, auxiliary lighting. Those can be wherever on your vehicle, up front to see, or also camp lighting, which is kind of around the vehicle. I don't have that yet. I have some plans to do some auxiliary lighting for camping, just so I can see my camp spot without having to wear a headlamp all the time. And yes, I know I did say that I don't have these in any certain order, but I would kind of leave the auxiliary stuff till, you know, sort of the end of your build, when you kind of have it set up how you want it and you kind of figured out what you want to do with your vehicle. Then I would start looking at Rotopacks, lighting, max tracks. I get made fun of for that all the time, but I guess, you know, typical bro overlander got the max tracks. So there's cool max track mounts that you can buy for your spare tire, which I am actually looking at doing. Right now I don't have exterior mounted max tracks, but I'm looking to relocate the camera and put max tracks on the tire and whatever else I need for adventures. But with that being said, because I'm a typical overlander, let's talk interior storage. And this is another one of those things where you can see all the junk in the back of the FJ. Now, I am not on a big overland journey right now, so it's not packed full, but FJs are kind of small in that aspect where, yeah, there's room, and it has slightly less room than a 4Runner of the same time period. But at the end of the day, it's just not well laid out for travel. And that's the big thing that I want to fix this year, because I want to have internal storage. Essentially what I'm going to do is take out the 60% seat, so that's the bigger side of the seat, install a little bed with a drawer system underneath, stuff like that, just so you can fully live out of your vehicle. Because when I go on trips right now, I have bins on bins on bins. So when you get to the campsite and you want to make food, well, too bad. You're going to spend half an hour pulling all your cooking utensils out, pulling your food out. And essentially that is the biggest problem right now that I want to fix, because it's just a pain in the butt every night to do that and then to pack it all up in the morning. So essentially, if you see yourself going out in the wilderness for a long period of time, I would say this is a must. You have to, at some point when you kind of figure out what you're doing, you're gonna have to go through that period of suck where you just have bins and it's a mess. When you get to the point where you know what you're gonna do, that's when I'll start designing and building a deck system. I haven't found any good deck systems that have drawers and stuff, so essentially I'm gonna build my own, and you're gonna see that progress on this page as I build it. But essentially that is it for this video, guys. If you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, also let me know, and let me know what I missed, because there's definitely mods that I missed in this video. So let me know down below what I missed and what we can kind of talk about as far as modifying your FJ Cruiser, because FJ Cruisers are beasts. You can make them look better, you can make them more capable, and still maintain what an FJ Cruiser actually is and kind of keep that image. So anyways, like I said, hit me in the comments. You know what, before we end the video, if you think that this video provided you value or any other video, hit the subscribe button for me. I'll see you in the next one.